What's up, co-counsels? You guys are early. I'm sorry. I'm late. My schedule's off. My kid was playing bingo when I went to go pick her up from the after-school program, and that delayed me. What's up, Allie, Banji? Even Callie's up. What's going on? All right, so let us get into today's proceedings. I did not really watch a lot from today because I'm working. I'm working most of the time that I'm watching this stuff. I just did not get a chance to really get into it. But as I was quickly scanning through today's proceedings, I see they were going over text messages because I was really trying to find the timestamp for Lori's cross, but there are some questions, there's some text messages. So let's get into
Correct.
it.
In
What I did not like about today's proceedings, though, the parts that I did watch, I started watching around my end. It was like maybe 2:30. I forgot to tune into Lori. It was around 2:30. So they had direct was already going on. It was underway. But Lori was just not objecting, and the prosecutor was leading the entire, at least what I watched. Direct. She's just leading, and Lori's just, I don't know what Lori's doing. But okay.
the lollytime at iCloud.com account, was there a contact name for a Mel B or Melanie B?
Yes, there was.
Melanie?
And did you learn who Melanie B was in this contact list?
That was Melanie Boudreau.
All right. What did you miss, Benji? Did you watch today or not really?
So we see a mention of
Did you have
Mel
a good day, Allie, Callie, Benji? Did you guys have a good day? All
in that July 9th Nephi text to Alex, right?
right, let's
looking at
skip
again,
because
we
I'm not.
continue contact with this family.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's just get to
See,
the
Your
text
Honor.
messages. Wait, is that Lori?
The proper foundations been made. I will.
Is that Lori?
Anna made the state will move to admit exhibit 229.
Any objection?
Just relevance to the conspiracy. Your
Yeah,
Honor.
and from what I watched earlier, she kept her what is this? Her objections were based on relevance. Lori, that is not valid. For example, the one, what's going on, Zeta? Hold on, folks.
All right. The proper foundations been made. I will admit 229.
229.
229 is admitted.
So we've talked about Adam and Brandon, correct?
Yes.
And so one of the first message in this exhibit 229 is from July 13th, so 2 days after Charles was shot and killed.
Yes.
And do we see, at this point, Chad is asking Lori, how did Adam and Brandon find out?
Correct.
And again, on the 13th at 9:51, we see Lori telling Chad, my mom, because she was so mad, she went off on Adam.
Correct.
And again, when we go back to Adam's testimony, did he indicate he learned Charles had died on the 13th
Correct.
and that he got in a fight with his mom?
Yes.
At that point, do we see then a message from Chad asking, did he have much to say in his defense?
Correct.
All right, folks, I'm gonna have to go back a little bit because I just got distracted. I was not paying attention. My daughter is having a hard time right now because they were playing bingo. Like I said, I'm late because she wanted to play bingo, and the prize was candy. You have candy at home. I know I'm one of those. I'm one of those parents. You have candy at home. Anyways, she just woke up from a nap and she's upset over candy. Dude, it's just candy and you have candy at home. In any event, let us go back. Let us go. Oh, I remember what I was talking about. So there's a portion I watched from earlier today where it's not necessarily a screenshot because that's the question. That's the first leading question, or one of the first questions that the prosecutor asked of this witness. But what it looked like a photograph of somebody's phone in the actual text. I believe the prosecutor was arguing or wanted the jury to draw an inference that this was Charles Vallow's phone. Okay. And Lori's objection was relevant. No, Lori, she stood probably a better chance of, objecting on the grounds of the best evidence rule. But in any event, it's just, it's a shit show.
One of the first message in this exhibit 229 is from July 13th, so
Okay,
2 days
see. I'm so nosy.
after Charles was shot and killed.
Yes.
And do we see, at this point, Chad is asking Lori, how did Adam and Brandon find out?
Correct.
And again, on the 13th at 9:51, we see Lori telling Chad, my mom, because she was so mad, she went off on Adam.
Correct.
And again, when we go back to Adam's testimony, did he?
Oh, Callie, no. I had a very challenging day. The day was okay until this whole bingo debacle. I'm like, you have candy I suppose for a 10-year-old it makes sense, but in my mind, you have candy at home. Why are you upset about not winning candy? I don't know. And it's not, these weren't even full candy bars. And not that anybody has to eat a full-size candy bar, but I don't know. Hopefully you had a good day, my friend. Allie had a decent day. Okay, so no, that's the state. All right, let's get into this. If you guys hear a noise in the background, nothing's happening to her. She's just upset about candy. Listen, if I enough ranting. Let's get into this. I just need to go back. She needs
One
to
of
be
the
asleep.
first message in this exhibit 229 is from July 13th, so 2 days after Charles was shot and killed.
Yes.
And do we see at this?
I don't know. Like, oh my goodness. Lori, I just, but then again, there's no such thing as a perfect crime. So I'm not even going to question what they were thinking with these text messages. But okay.
At this point, Chad is asking Lori, how did Adam and Brandon find out?
Correct.
And again, on the 13th,
Hold on. So Chad is the fourth husband. And I think that came through a little during today's testimony. That it sounds like Lori and Chad I don't know if they were having an affair or if they were in a open relationship or open marriage. Something was going on.
at 9:51, we see Lori telling Chad, my mom, because she was so mad, she went off on Adam.
Dang, the mom knew? Oh my goodness.
Correct.
And again, when we go back to Adam's,
Okay, let's see. Is there any way? I don't know. We might have to jump to cross because I don't know how Lori's going to try and challenge these text messages.
testimony, did he indicate he learned Charles had died on the 13th
Correct.
and that he got in a fight with his mom?
Yes.
At that point, do we see then?
I actually understand why Lori would marry Chad. He kind of looked like, or he sounds like, based on these text messages, I don't know, he sounds like a ride or die. So
A message from Chad asking, did he have much to say in his defense?
Correct.
And Lori responds, he was very defensive and tried to justify everything, but my mom kicked him out
My
and
mom.
said she would never talk to him again. She's dramatic.
Yes.
oh, Lord. All right.
So we had learned that Adam
Okay, so somebody's in love with somebody.
had been speaking with Charles and that he hadn't told his family about this intervention, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And that after this, he said he lost basically all contact with his family.
Yes.
And this
Lori, you need to object. You need to do something. Like Lori definitely needs to object here. Listen, I did not watch the entirety of the prosecution's direct, but all she did to the portions that I did watch was lead the entire way. She was basically testifying, and I don't know what Lori was doing.
this seems to sort of confer with that.
Correct.
Do we then see a switch over from talking about Lori's family to now?
I don't know. Lori, I do not. Maybe she's tired. She must be exhausted. I don't know.
Chad talking to Lori about being deeply, crazily, madly in love with Lily.
Yes.
Kelly, don't encourage her.
And do we see again messages to and from Lori and Chad talking about?
Okay, so Allie wonders if she would have, off the new husband. Does he have insurance? I don't know. What are the benefits? What would be the benefits?
Sort of their love for each other.
Correct.
So
All right,
prior to this,
needs to
you really
object.
had not seen this open, obvious.
Yeah, this is pretty much the prosecutor testifying through and through. I don't know why standby counsel. I had to be next to Lori. I don't know why standby counsel. I'm not licensed in Arizona though, but I should have been next to Lori. I do not know why standby counsel was not nudging her.
Discussions about their relationship.
I had not.
Literally, like, oh my goodness.
As the time continued, did you continue to see, again, messages of love,
Let's see.
as well as a lot of calls?
I did.
Okay, can I call you in 5 minutes?
Uh,
All right. I love you so much. You're the greatest desire. You're my greatest desire and best friend. Now on with the story.
Although we
Okay.
won't read through every.
Now I'm going to read. So as November began, James and Elena had talked on the phone every day since last seeing each other. He was extremely impressed with her intelligence, personality, and subtle humor that made him laugh more than he had in his lifetime. He must not have lived very long. Anyway, she was a complete delight to talk to, and the highlight of his day was when he could hear her magical voice. Dang, these people are poetic. I don't even get messages
Everything
like
here.
these.
Is this
Okay?
sort of part of that
It was so familiar to him, and it actually healed and soothed his heart and soul. All right.
story you're talking about of James and Elena starting in November?
Correct.
And is November when the Preparing the People conference was here in Arizona
Preparing the people.
of 2018?
Correct.
And we've heard testimony from witnesses that Chad Daybell was there.
Yes.
And you found actually a recording
So I suppose they met at Preparing a People. I don't know.
on the Lori for Style
They have a
of
lot
Chad
going
Daybell
on.
at the Preparing the People conference in November of 2018.
I did.
Okay. Okay, so 2018, that's the year prior to Charles' demise. This is why I say I don't text. I don't like to text people. I'd rather use one of those encrypted, what is this? Apps. I got downloading everything.
As we get to July 14th,
Yeesh, that's amazing, just like you. I'm sorry. So I've been clearing the Houston house. I have removed the darkness he caused, or what? And I've gotten the vibration up to 200 light. Making progress. Okay. All right. Clearing the house, removing the
See
darkness. How do you
Chad
do
then
that?
talking about cleansing the Houston house.
Clear.
No, it says clearing. Lori, you should have been objecting. You should have been doing something.
Clearing the Houston.
Clearing.
Yeah.
Clearing the Houston house, sorry. To remove the darkness he
They said that's amazing, just like you. Thinking of you always, my love. You are wonderful.
caused.
Sheesh.
Correct.
So who was living in Houston?
Charles.
And had you seen and heard people testify that Charles was considered dark by
Yeah,
Lori Vallow?
I don't know what Lori was doing. She should have.
Yes.
And again, we continue to see the affirmations of love,
Yes.
the cheek to cheek and loin to loin.
Yes.
Again, more conversations, both of love in text messages as well as phone calls.
Correct.
A misunderstanding. It turns out that Zeta's not really upset about I mean, she is upset about the candy, but she's upset because she did not win. And the only way she could have gotten the candy is had she won. So, yeah. And she doesn't want me to create a bingo game for her. So, I don't know how to resolve this.
As we continue on the 14th, did Chad,
All right.
where was Chad Daybell living in July of 2019?
Yeah, but Ellie, you have to realize that if she did in fact engage in this conspiracy, she did not know that Charles had changed the beneficiary. So yeah, she did not know that. So okay, so let's see. I don't think I would want messages like that. Messages like that. Look what happened here. That you do make a good point. You do make a good point. Okay, so Callie says that she being the defendant in this case would have had some type of benefit in the long run.
19.
In Idaho.
So Chad is living in Idaho, and you told us that you had seen flights of Lori to Idaho and Lori and Chad to Arizona in March of 2019.
Yes.
Wait, what's all this? I might actually have to get my glasses. Hold on. Sheesh. So, Lori, weren't you the one that was, attacking Nancy Joe over, text messages about kissing and the like? So here they say, dang, they did not redact these people's phone numbers? No, okay. So I need to so badly just gently kiss you for hours. I would like. It would likely lead to other activity. Oh, okay. All right. Likely or luckily, I don't know. It would likely lead to nakedness. All right. Did everything go smoothly in ending the hotel stay and getting the car returned? I guess I turned in the car, but I don't know what the police did at the hotel. Probably just left it. What are the dates on these? July 14. That's what, 3 days after? Because wasn't the day in question July 11th or was it July 13th? I think it was 13th. This is crazy.
He's asking Lori, did everything go smoothly in ending the hotel
Lori, I just don't know. I need to see this cross
stay
examination.
and getting the car returned?
Correct.
And so we see Lori responding to him, I guess I turned in the car, but I don't know what the police did at the hotel, probably
This is
just
so
left it.
Correct.
Listen,
And so we know
don't they watch? I don't know. Don't they watch the first 48 other trials on law and crime? They just, I don't know, Lori.
that the police
What
got the
on
key
earth?
card from her and went and cleared out the hotel room.
Yes.
All this texting. That's a lot. hold on. Oh, I need to get into it. Okay, something about on with the story. Yay. Apparently, by the time the conference arrived, James, I thought we already read this, no? I thought we already. Yeah. I thought, am I? No, no, no. This is something else. Okay. So by the time the conference arrived, James and Elena had become very close through their phone conversations, but he desperately needed to see her again. Why are they talking about other people? She agreed to pick him up at the airport and take him to his hotel. He was extremely nervous, worried that the spark they had felt earlier might not be there. But as she arrived at the airport, and oh, is this a story she made up? Is this a story she made up, or are these actually people? I don't know. That's why I guess you have to listen to the full testimony. It's not really the witness testifying; it's more so the prosecutor. In any event, um, but as she arrived at the airport and he opened the car door, his heart nearly burst at the sight of her smile. She was stunningly gorgeous, and they gripped each other. They gripped each other's hands. The electricity was tangible. The love between them was powerful and real. All right. So I guess that's on with the story part. I suppose that's what they. This kind of sounds like phone sex, but like on a different. I don't even know what this is. Okay. So the hotel was only a short distance away, and he invited her into the room. They were soon standing alone in the room, and he put his arm around her and looked into her gorgeous blue eyes. All right. I cannot see what this is. I cannot see what this is. I guess hungered. They hungered for each other, and he leaned forward and fulfilled a promise he had made to her a few days earlier. He gently kissed her tender lips. And the same heavenly electricity filled his entire body. All right, somebody's getting electrocuted. All right, somebody's getting shocked.
Do we see again a continuation of that story
Oh,
that
Jerome's here.
Chad was writing to Lori Vallow?
What's up, Jerome?
doing?
I missed you so much, my friend. How have you been? How have you been? Even Alice excited to see you. Dang, Benji's excited. Benji's excited to see you. What you been doing? Oh, you've been working. All right. Ali says there are too many dates to keep a track of, honestly. No, the one that I'd written down, I take too many notes, but I believe it was July 13. All right. Okay, so Jerome says he always does the replay. Okay, so apparently Jerome is very proud of Benji and Brooklyn. They've been holding me down, okay? They've been holding it down. All right. Allie loves Jerome. We love you, Jerome, okay? I mean, this is what it sounds like. This story just I don't know. Benji said it's crazy phone love. It just yeah. And Allie cannot take it. Callie's excited for Jerome too. Yeah, but these text
Um,
messages are just oof.
And that continues
Electricity.
through most of this till,
No, you're going too fast. Hold on. We need to go back. All right.
and that
I cannot.
continues through
I cannot.
most of this
Can I see that? I cannot.
till,
I cannot see that. I'm nosy, so we're gonna try one more time. Let me see if I
and
can freeze
that
it. I want to hear how
continues
the
through
story ends.
most of
Yeah, that's
this till,
too. Oh, hold on. The gear speed. Let's slow it down just a little bit.
continues through most of this,
I cannot make that out.
that
I'm so nosy. I'm really
continues
invested.
through
Okay. No, too
most of
fast. I can't do.
this.
Hold on. I don't know, the passionate magic something. Let's try one more time. I'm sorry. I'm really nosy. Not just that, I'm really invested in this story. I'm invested in this story.
And
Come on.
that continues.
Okay, there we go. So, all right. Somebody replied in hers or something. I guess, okay, so everybody had electricity. They're about to get electrocuted. All right. So the passionate magic they had felt many centuries earlier came surging back powerfully. James moved to the couch. Ooh, he moved to the couch. Okay. And Elena, straddled him effortlessly. All right. If you guys want me to stop, tell me to stop, but I'm really nosy. Okay. Um, as if they had done this thousands of times before, she fit perfectly on him. They pressed their, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. There's no way. I don't think is that body? No, I think that's an L. Or is that an F? I don't know. They pressed something tightly against each other. The feeling was exquisite, Lori said. And they both, is this smiled? Ooh, apparently they smiled and moaned at the sensations passing between them. This is very erotic. They were still fully clothed, I guess they were fully clothed. So, okay. But the intensity of the intimacy was undeniable. All right. James felt the powerful desire to bless Elena at that time. Bless her how? As they stayed in that favorite position, he moved his hands to her head and began to cleanse. They do a whole lot of cleansing. I'm sorry. This is not how I thought this. This is not how I thought this story was gonna end. Anyway, so apparently, um, James, he moved his hands to her head and began to cleanse and purify each part of her body. That is not what that is not what I was expecting. But this is not what I was expecting. So they were cleansing. It's part of the cleansing and the purifying and the casting. And I cannot see anything else. But okay. Oh,
Used through most of this.
maybe we can get the rest of that. Can I make that out? Probably not. Let's try one more time. Hold on. I got
That
too much time on my hands. Yeah, I cannot make that out.
continues.
Okay, maybe we can. Maybe we can. Where did we stop? Hold on. All right. Hold on. Hold on. No, it's still down here. Never mind.
Through
All right. So
most of
somebody
this
and somebody else.
till
All right. Let's see if we can make this out. Okay. So he began to cleanse and purify each part of her body. He could feel the pains and troubles she had endured throughout her life, being removed from her soul and being taken. I cannot see what this is. I think it says outside and destroyed. James' hands worked their way down her body and lingered briefly on her beautiful breasts. Oh, okay. She's something. I don't know what this is. Had the body of a goddess, and he was experiencing an, I think this says, indescribable mix of physical and spiritual ecstasy. Spiritual ecstasy. All right. Spiritual ecstasy. And then he did what? Okay. He soon concluded the cleansing of her body from head to toe, then filled her body with a, is this saying balm of light and love, or is it beam? I don't know. Anyways, James could see the happiness in her. This is not what I was expecting. This is not, I mean, it's Lori, so I suppose it makes sense. If we're talking about casting and demons and net, this definitely makes sense. So James could see the happiness in her eyes, and instinctively their mouths came together. The hands, the lips, the demons. So, there's a lot going on. So the life was turning. No, no, no. The fire was burning strongly within them both. And as their kissing grew more intense, he something, I think it says gently, he gently said, "I love you, Elena." So those words sparked a frenzy within them. Their tongues effortlessly intertwined, I think. And their, is that lips or is it hips? Oh, their hips gyrated in a smooth, erotic rhythm. Two lovers, long separated, were finally united in heavenly bliss. Would you guys have thought that's how that was going to end? In heavenly bliss. Wow. I am glad I actually read that. And somebody down here said, "Phew, I need a hot shower. Somebody's steamy." Oh, sorry. I
Apparently,
need to hold on. Normal speed. No, oh, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what the heavenly I'm doing. All right, let's go.
Chad needed a shower.
Correct.
Ish. So that's what it takes, huh? Oh, there's more. Hold on. Oop. All right. So somebody says, "I love you." I cannot see that. Hold on. We have an amazing something. I don't know what's up there, but somebody has an amazing something. And then heading to bed, and then heading to Lily's. Can't wait to talk in the morning. You are fabulous. Definitely loving you throughout the night. All right. Good morning, beautiful. Just finished talking to Mark. I'm getting ready now so I can leave and talk with you at 8:30 your time. I love you. Good morning. Can't wait. What, you don't love them back? Can I call you in 5 minutes? All right. Yeah, that is not, listen, that is not how I thought that story was going. I did not see that story ending like that. Mm-mm.
Now,
Mm-mm. What's missing?
now,
Okay.
as we again continue through this,
Okay. I'm right there with you, my love. You are amazing. I can feel your power. Woo. Oh, okay. They can feel
um,
the
are
electricity,
you seeing
the
sort of
voltage.
every day?
Taking off to Vegas, the last ones on the plane, just made it. Wishing you were on the other side of this flight. I love you so much.
Multiple
All right.
texts
Love you more. Keep me posted, my beloved angel.
of love between these two.
I am, yes.
Baby, that is electricity. It's more than just love, okay? It's more than just adoration. Hold on. Not so fast.
And again,
Okay.
going through the 17th, 16th, 17th, again, more affirmations of love,
Wow, you look fabulous in the photo. What kind of photo?
correct?
Yes.
Now, we know on the 15th of July is when Lori Vallow had called Banner Life Insurance
Okay.
to indicate that she was the beneficiary, right?
Right.
Correct.
And on
I mean, this is just the prosecutor
the
testifying.
18th is when she learned
All right, let's see. What's the chat? What's the chat saying? What is, look at Voice of Reason. Voice of Reason is out here. Okay, Jerome says it feels good to sit at the table with a family. All right. All right, Jerome misses somebody and their jokes. Uh Benji said, "Wowza." I'm sorry. You guys know I cannot help myself. So Callie says these messages read like Milton Boone's novels. I never read that stuff. I always thought they were so whack. But okay, Allie said, what is this? 50 Shades of Lori. Actually, that's I might actually steal that title. Hold on, I'm gonna take a screenshot. I'm gonna take a screenshot of these titles. I might come up with a what is this? I might come up with a Lori video. Okay, and a real thing, she she said it's rated R. She's clutching her pearls. So okay. I don't even know what this cross is gonna look like, but okay. Yeah, real thing. How have you been? It's been a while. Jerome's excited you're here. Let's see. Okay. So Ellie's doing better now. I'm sorry. Real thing's doing better now. Oh, we definitely miss you. That's such a coincidence because I literally thought about you this week. It must have been yesterday. I literally thought about you this week. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Let's try and get. I'm just trying to get. Dang, girls back up here loving everybody. I cannot help myself. I cannot help myself, real thing. I just cannot help myself. And real thing, we have two new co-counsels, okay? We have Benji. Benji is straight out of Antelope, California. And we have Fever. Fever's not here tonight, though. He was here last night. So Fever is from New York, all right? Okay, let's get into this.
That she was not.
Correct.
So in Exhibit 229, do we see on July 18th at 12:18 Arizona time,
I need to read the rest of the. I just listen. I did not see that story ending like that. I just.
so I talked to the insurance company. He changed it in March.
Okay.
So it was probably Ned before we got rid of him. They
Whoa.
can't tell me to whom, of course, but it's done. I'll still get the $4,000 a month from Social Security.
Yeah, Lori. Actually, I've said this before. Even when I woke up this morning, I was like, Lori is kind of insane. But now Lori is definitely
Security?
insane.
Yes.
When you get out of the temple, please text this number. Okay.
So on July 18th, after she talks with Banner Life Insurance, Lori tells Chad she's not getting the life insurance.
Correct.
But she tells him she's getting $4,000 a month from Social Security.
Correct.
Mhm.
Now we know
Okay, why is the prosecutor just leading? Why?
from Lori Vallow's text to Alex that she went to Social Security on August 12th.
I mean, here's the thing, though. Let's go back to defense. Let me put on my standby counsel hat, okay? Because I'm supposed to be assisting Lori here. Here's the argument. Lori and Charles were married. Couldn't Lori actually? Lori should have played it different, okay? Lori should have taken a different angle. If there's information that Charles was, I guess he was on dating, like on the Christian Mingle version of Mormons. I forgot what it was called, whatever it was called. Okay, so there's evidence that, he was seeing other people and talking to other people. If we go back to cross-examination of, I think it was Nancy Joe, Lori should have taken that opportunity to cross-examine Nancy Joe about whether Charles was seeing other people. Okay, the prosecution would probably have objected, but in any way, the hope is to get Nancy Joe to just, say yes, or she's gonna say I don't know because Nancy Joe was something else, but the hope is that she says that, okay, they were just dating and he was seeing other people because he's on a dating app and they were not exclusive, something along those lines. The reason why is in order to tie it to a closing argument for later. And that would explain some of the Chad Daybell stuff away. If Lori had planted the seed that, Charles was seeing other people and she was seeing other people too, then the jury, these type of things would not be that, shocking to the jury. But based on her confrontation of Nancy Joe and making her out to be this individual that is, keen on sleeping with married men and kissing married men and the like, she was kind of really pointing the finger at herself. In any event, so here's the thing, and this goes back to the whole social security or money motive, okay, for life insurance. If Lori and Charles were in fact married, which we know, let's say they may have had a rift for a little bit, but here Lori should have actually played the role of like a loving um, wife or widow. In any event, or whether they were on good terms or not, they were married at the time of his death. Okay, and because they were married, she was aware that what she was the beneficiary because they have, I mean, she said they have 5 children or whatever, but they, at the time they had 2 minor children. Under those circumstances, it does make sense for a widow to actually reach out to an insurance carrier and claim the benefits. So she should have played it otherwise. She should have, I don't know, she should have come up with a better theory or theme for her case.
correct?
Yes.
And we also had testimony from Social Security about
Yeah,
that.
because under normal circumstances, when one of the spouses die, it makes sense for the other spouse to reach out, or the surviving spouse to reach out and get benefits. And was Lori working? I know she was some type of hairdresser, but was she working at the time of his death? I don't remember. Or maybe it's testimony that I actually did not hear.
That.
Correct.
Um, But here it is on July 18th of 2018, and she already knows she's going to get money from Social Security.
Correct.
I don't know, Fever. He might be working tonight. I have no idea. All right. Jerome said,
Again,
shout out to Fever.
Do you see a lot of additional, continuing, everyday, multiple affirmations of their relationship?
I do.
Yeah, Lori, I have no idea. Yeah, something. Lori, I suspected she was not mentally sound, but after those erotic messages, oh yeah, she's definitely gone because they were talking about they were getting off on cleansing and everything else. But okay,
Again,
hold on, let me see. Am I missing a text?
do you see a lot of additional, continuing, everyday, multiple affirmations of their relationship?
I do.
Dang, I don't even tell people. I mean, in my life, I love them as much as these people. Like, all you get is one day from me. I tell you, one
And
time a
this
day.
email or this report just went through the July
I
18th
see
where
it,
we
ma'am.
have that message about the Social Security.
Yes.
Did those affirmations continue on after
Yes,
that?
they did.
That's just the prosecutor testifying.
So now that Charles is dead,
Lori, what on earth were you thinking? She was not thinking.
there's
She should have gone with the insanity defense.
a very open texting and calling relationship between Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell.
Yes.
Okay, obviously, I did not listen to the entirety of this officer's testimony, but for folks that actually did listen to everything, and this is just based on the prosecutor's last question that we heard. Is the prosecutor trying to say that Lori and Ched did not openly communicate while Charles was still alive, or were they communicating or not?
Now, we had indicated that there were multiple contact names that were associated in the Lolly Time iCloud account
Okay.
to Chad Daybell.
Yes.
Shout out to old bag.
While you were looking at these
Woo!
text messages in
That's
the Lolly
mean,
Time
Jerome.
iCloud account, did you
Jerome, that's
locate any for a contact name Melanie?
I think they were just all doing their thing. They were just, I guess being adults and cleansing and touching each other.
2 with the number 2.
I did.
And in reviewing those messages, did you
Jerome said sorry.
identify them
I think the same can be said of, I
as
don't know.
coming from
I'll leave it
Chad
alone.
Daybell as well?
Yes, the number linked to that contact of Melanie too was for Chad Daybell.
Did you even see a
Oh, so
message
she saved the contact as a female?
from Melanie 2 with an attached photo showing Chad Daybell?
Correct.
And were all those, not all of them, were there a substantial number of those messages between Melanie 2 and Lori Vallow, the same sort of romantic discussions that you saw between contact name Bubby
Yes.
and Lori?
Yes.
Okay.
When you were looking at the conversation between Chad Daybell as the Bubby contact, we saw a discussion about life insurance, correct?
Correct.
Did you also see a conversation between
Big shout out to Benji, okay? Benji has definitely been holding me down. Benji, Brooklyn, they have definitely been holding me down. But shout out to everybody in the chat.
Lori and Melanie
What
too,
upgrade are you
AKA
talking
Chad,
about?
about life insurance?
I did.
If I can have my,
Oh, and I started a new channel, you guys. I started a new channel. I'll be posting more clips over there. I need to get into it. But I've posted the link to that channel. It's on my community tab or post or whatever it's called. And the channel's name is I Want a Real Lawyer. Obviously, if you search for that, it won't pop up because I don't have anything on there. But I think I have 3 subscribers. And Benji was the first person to subscribe.
paralegal approach was 288 and 230.
Aren't they done? And these folks are gonna keep me up here later than I had planned on, but I need to get into this. Let's see. What's this? There's nobody
Looking at
coughing in this
288 and
courtroom.
230, are those both one of the messages that is from Melanie 2, contact name, to Lori Vallow, that was had an attached
What are you
photo
saying?
of Chad Daybell and
That's
another
the question,
individual?
ma'am.
Yes.
Was that some of the information used to verify that this Melanie 2 was in fact Chad Daybell?
It was.
And then in 230, is that some of the SMS messages showing both that same romantic relationship as well as that conversation about the life insurance?
Correct.
State will move to admit 288 and 230.
Okay.
Any objection?
Just the relevance, Your Honor.
288 and
Girl.
230 are admitted.
So starting with
me.
288, was this, again, a message, an MMS, so meaning there's an attached photo with it, right?
Correct.
That occurred
And then, real thing, had you kept up with the Jackie Johnson trial? I think it's Jackie Johnson.
on July 17th of 2019 from Melanie 2 contact name. And it said, I took a photo with Alan Osmond
Jerome's
Remark.
excited
Correct.
about something. Oh
And when
my
we looked at the
goodness.
photo,
I did not know that real thing. Well, thank you for subscribing. I guess I know there were 3 people and YouTube gives you a notification, but I do a very bad job. I do a terrible job of I'm going to improve though. I'm going to improve. I know Callie has been posting or been commenting. I don't get the time, you guys. Yeah, Callie has been commenting. I just don't open. I'll start working on it this weekend. But thank you, real thing.
did you ever learn what Chad Daybell looked like?
I do know what he looks like.
Hold
What
on.
he
Oh, I think this is him. I've looked up his picture before.
looks like. Yes.
Is that Chad Daybell?
Yes, it is.
And who's this? Why do they have a woman person next to him?
So this is the person that she has been texting all the
I don't know why they were
romantic
texting. I just
love affirmations with
I don't get it.
right after Charles died.
Yes.
2:30, again, we see the same sort of romantic contact between them.
Correct.
And so this is again, July 18th now, going on with another contact name for Chad Daybell and Lori's phone.
Yes.
Okay.
And again, we see it's the Lolly Time iCloud account, right?
Correct.
They're all so funny.
When we get to July 18th, this one though
Thanks,
isn't
Allie.
earlier. For the Bubby one, we saw that it was a noon time message, right?
Right.
And so we learned that Lori received a email indicating she was not the beneficiary, and later she had a phone conversation.
Correct.
Does this one appear to be sort of the
Okay, hold on. Let's go back. Hold on. I'm kind of slacking. I need the context. Okay, so she's basically saying, look, can we go back further? No, we cannot do that. Okay, I just got the letter from the insurance company saying that I'm not the beneficiary. It's a spear through my heart. Who do you think he changed it? How is this Chad person supposed to know? Brandon or probably Kay? He left nothing for JJ. All right. Let's keep going. Wow, that's terrible. There's no way to find out. I might be able to see when I get his computer on Sunday. What on earth? I could check the email sent to the insurance company. It will show change of beneficiary. He must have done it recently.
time message, right?
Right.
And so we
What are we missing? It seems you would have had to agree to the change. Maybe your name was forged. What on earth? So I suppose this is where Lori got her cross-examination question from, because I remember her asking the insurance agent or adjuster, whatever her name or whatever her title was, whether I think she alluded to. If I remember correctly, I believe she asked that witness a question about whether her consent was required, or were those the phone calls? I don't know. Let's move on.
we learned that Lori received a email indicating she was not the beneficiary, and later she had a phone conversation.
Correct.
Does this one appear to be sort of the
That's
earlier ones as
crazy.
it references, I just got the letter from the insurance company saying that I'm not the beneficiary. It's a spear through my heart. Who do you think he changed it to? Brandon or probably Kay? He left nothing for JJ.
Correct.
Did that conversation go on? Wow, that's terrible. There's no way to find out.
It did.
And did Lori then tell Chad, I might be able to see when I get his computer on Sunday, I could check the email sent to the insurance company. It will show change of beneficiary.
And even after all of this, they have to tell each other how much they love each other. They're like, I love you. This is terrible.
He must have done it recently.
Correct.
Gadiantons, what I'm going to have to look that up. These are some religious people. Hold on. Let's find out. Hold on, let me play this.
So we had seen, in fact, photos what appeared to
Okay,
be
so
from a computer.
In the Book of Mormons, the Gadianton robbers were a secret criminal organization in ancient America, described as similar to the Sicily. They used murder and plunder to destabilize society and overthrow the government. Their name may be linked to the Hebrew word for band or bandit. And then they go on. I'm sure you guys don't want to you guys don't want to listen to me talking about more about the Book of Mormon. Now I'm just getting distracted. Let's
Computer that were sent to Chad Daybell, correct?
Correct.
Showing that beneficiary.
Okay, hold on. They said what? It seems you'd have to, you should have a good paper trail to prove it.
Change.
Yes.
Oh, so I guess Chad was really just responding, trying to tell his girl to go get that money.
So does that seem to match with, again, what Lori's telling Chad here about finding out who got that money?
It does.
What were they going to do? Oh my goodness. What exactly were they going to do? Like cleanse them?
Does Chad then say, it seems you would have to agree to change, maybe the name was forged? You should have a good paper trail to prove it, right?
Correct.
So he's trying to help her figure out how to get that money. So you then go
Okay.
on to say, I love you, this is terrible. It's probably another step in bringing down.
And real thing, I did watch a few clips here and there, but I believe those were from local news stations in Atlanta. I watch here and there. Um, but actually, I was actually thinking. I think that's why I thought about you this weekend because I was thinking about, or this week, I was thinking about Jackie Johnson. I want to take a closer look because I just want to understand. Because what I did glean from the clips that I watched, the prosecutor from the other county that they called, his testimony was that um, the officers had already made up their minds in that they were not going to charge the defendants. I forgot their last names. What were their last names? Michelson's, I think. I think their names were Michelson's. So I think that played a factor because again, I don't know. I'll have to. I'm gonna look into it some more. But I said it previously, though it must have been in the YSL trial where I said that for for a prosecutor to be convicted while on the job, that's kind of hard. That's kind of tricky to do because prosecutors typically have a lot of leverage. They have a lot of power. So I guess from that perspective, it's not exactly surprising. But here's the thing. So today in the headlines, Trump is suing what's her name, AG out of New York. I can see her right now. Hold on, I took a screenshot earlier. My mind is just Tish James, there we go. Suing Tish James. I read a bit of the article when I was at work. It was something along the lines of she signed onto some mortgage with a cousin, and um, she declared that that mortgage or the home that's in Virginia is her primary residence. They're pretty much trying to argue that because her primary residence is now in Virginia, her office in New York is pretty much vacant. It's a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. What's up, Brooklyn? Yeah, it's a mess.
What is this?
Where?
Gaddy Anton.
Did you ever
Getty
learn what that
Anton?
was?
I'm sure I researched it, but off the top of my head, I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Nope, he can change it anytime he wants. He's the agent, and anyone can change their beneficiary anytime with their own signature. I'm thinking it must be Kay. I guess she was dead on.
Did Lori then tell him, nope?
That's actually kind of dangerous. That is kind of dangerous. And I'm referring to Kay here. It's not even that. Let us assume for a second that Kay was not actually the beneficiary and it was somebody else. And Lori and them actually, decide to cleanse Kay. This is just, it's a hypothetical, but that's, I don't know.
He can change it anytime he wants. He's the agent, and anyone can change the beneficiary anytime with their own signature. I'm thinking it must be
What
Kay.
audio, Jerome?
Correct.
So she understood,
Yeah.
at least to
Yeah.
Chad, that Charles had that right.
Yes.
Does Chad then say,
Brooklyn, we have a special appearance by Real Thing. We're all really excited she's here.
it will be interesting if he got changed after he had 2 bullets in his chest.
What the hell? Hold on, Lori.
got.
I don't even know if we can get to cross-examination tonight because it's a lot going on.
It will be interesting if he got if it got changed after he had 2 bullets in his chest.
What the hell?
Correct.
And she goes,
Okay, these people are definitely, listen, Lori is definitely insane. So she thinks that her deceased husband had the capability of changing changing the beneficiary in his life insurance policy after he was shot in the chest. What, Lori? What?
goes on to respond, I don't think it could have. You can't change it after the death date. They would review
Oh, so
that.
they're just saying if it got changed, so it got changed by somebody else. So it's not okay. I guess she's not that crazy, but okay.
Correct.
And then she goes on to say again, I'm thinking Kay as well. Or he says, I'm thinking Kay as well. She probably freaking out that you got those
How would
computers.
she be freaking out?
I'm going to shower and get
The one thing I know about Chad, he likes to take showers.
you a blessing. I'm eager to
Give
get
her a blessing while you're taking a shower. Okay.
home so we can talk. It will be okay, my love. You are wonderful.
Dang, you're
Correct.
wonderful. Listen, I'm gonna reach out to my man and say, you don't text me like this. Like you don't you don't tell me how wonderful I am. You don't tell me you love me every 3 seconds.
And
What's
then she
going
says,
on?
miss you so much. And he responds, miss you the most.
Sheesh.
Yes.
My text messages are, why didn't you take the trash out? You know.
So during this conversation,
That's
we see Chad and Lori discussing who this likely would have gone to, and when it
I'm gonna have to rewatch the beginning of this testimony.
could have been changed, right?
Yes.
And that all occurred before the
Wow.
second conversation we see, also on the 18th, but closer to, I think, 12:30, 12:34, where she knows now it was changed in March.
Correct.
Callie said, shoo. Yeah. Wow.
And in that, we see Chad referring to the 2 shots to the chest, right?
Yes.
So again, we know they've been talking about this. Did you see any other text messages talking about that?
I did
Who's
not.
Michael Bryan?
But we saw lots of phone calls between the 2 on the 11th.
Sure.
Okay,
Now, as
so
we have been talking through,
yeah, Callie, that's a good point. I'm wondering as well because who was more, I guess, dominant and who was more susceptible to influence? Uh, these people are just, they are bananas. They're definitely bananas.
through this conversation and much of this trial, we have referred to the defendant as Lori Vallow.
Correct.
And that's because she was
They should have, she should have, I know she does not think she's crazy, but she should have gone with the insanity defense.
married to Charles Vallow when he was shot on July 11th of 2019, right?
Yes.
During your
Hey,
review
Lori.
of those Lolly time at iCloud accounts, did you find evidence of when she became Lori Daybell?
I did.
Okay, when?
Did you see a contract for the wedding?
I did.
See wedding photos?
I did.
Where was that wedding?
Hawaii.
Oh, they had an actual wedding? I don't know. I thought they went to the courthouse and like went to Subway or something afterward. Or no, Burger King. I'm sorry. Dang. Who paid for the wedding? I was going to talk about destination weddings, but I'll leave it
I
alone.
can have my paralegal approach with 233.
Radianton, a secret criminal organization in ancient America, according to the Book of Mormon. Dang, they have a picture. They have a picture.
Looking at Exhibit 233 is that the report as well as the actual document that was in the lollytime@icloud.com account that you reviewed, that the police obtained through a search warrant relating to when Lori Vallow became Lori Daybell.
Correct.
State will move to admit 233.
Any objection?
Relevance.
Lori,
33 is admitted.
Lori, you cannot be a lazy objector. You should have gone with the real attorney.
So the first part of this, we see that, again, it notes that this is an image that was from the account.
All right, hold on. So you guys are going to learn a little bit. So there's a distinction between Mormon LDS and FLDS. So apparently, hold on, where was I? So Mormon is the general term for those who follow the teachings of Joseph Smith and his followers, while LDS refers to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the largest of these groups. And then FLDS, Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, those are a lot of words, is a smaller, more fundamentalist sect that broke away from the LDS Church over issues like polygamy. Listen. Under these circumstances, Lori definitely, I suppose probably the relationship between Chad and Lori was valid, I suppose. I don't know. Lori needs to lean more on her faith. I wonder if she asked questions about, her faith during voir dire, because that would have made a lot of sense. It makes a lot of difference. It would make a difference.
From the Lollytom iCloud account from 1031, correct? And then this is the actual photograph that was uploaded into the iCloud account, correct?
Correct.
So we see Chad Daybell and Lori Ryan. Was Lori Ryan a prior name of Lori Vallow?
Yes.
There's a lot of last
That
names.
was Tylee Ryan's dad?
Correct.
So she used the Lori Ryan name in this. They use a home address of Rexburg, Idaho at that point.
Correct.
Okay.
And then the date of the actual wedding is that November 5th of
And why do
2019.
they have all
Yes,
the
it is.
addresses and things up there? Hold on. Or is that the venue?
Yes, it is.
I think that says home, though.
So 4 months after Charles Vallow is shot and killed
Mm-hmm.
inside of the defendant's home, she has remarried to the man, Chad Daybell.
Yes.
Yep. I think the jurors
other
are going to
questions for
want
this
to
witness?
know. I think the jurors are going to want to know what happened to Chad, or if he, if he's still around.
Cross.
Not that they can get into that, but unless Lori opens the door. Oh, come on.
Detective Duncan, when did you become the case agent?
I believe it was June of 2020.
Okay.
She has a different blog on
And prior
tonight
to
or
you being
today.
case agent, it was Detective Moffett?
Moffett, yes.
Is that correct? And was it because he got promoted that they made you the case agent over this case? or-
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And he's now a lieutenant. Is that correct?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Lori, we went over this yesterday. The purpose for cross-examination is not to try and bog down, mundane details. You have to ask questions that actually, shake up the prosecution's case. You have to ask about things that, kind of cast reasonable doubt. Okay, she's just, I don't know, Lori.
And so he was the case, was there anyone in between? Was he the case agent the whole time until 2020 when you took over?
Correct.
Oh,
Okay. And when you took over the case, what things did you do differently?
I wouldn't say differently. I continued what I was doing. I was looking at records for him. The records
What are
in
you
this
getting
case,
at?
as you are, there's volumes of records. So continued to look at all of the independent iCloud records, call detail records, phone extractions, and also kind of reviewing what he had done prior to my assignment is what I'd done.
Right, so kind of reviewing and seeing what you need to look at.
Correct.
So is this, from what I was understanding what you were saying earlier, is this, you weren't really involved in the case since July 11th and now you're back
Lori.
involved in the case?
So July 11th, obviously I was there at the house.
Right.
Shortly after that, I had another homicide and my time was occupied with that. And it was several months later that I offered to help look at records because they were so much. And I'd always done that kind of in the background, but never really took a deep dive into them until that June 2020.
Okay, but you were kind of involved, so you kind of knew what was going on in the investigation during
Somewhat.
during that time, that year in between,
yeah.
before you became the case agent,
Correct.
but not totally deep
Lori.
dive, but you kind of knew what was going on.
I understood it.
Okay.
Yes.
That's good.
What do you mean it's good?
So let's go over that day again real quick. When you were there, what time were you there at the scene, from when to when?
I believe I arrived shortly after 9:15
Okay,
and I would have left probably.
Lori, that timeline does not help your defense. If you I don't know. I don't know what to do with Lori anymore. I just don't.
4:30.
okay. Were you at the house that whole time?
Yes.
So
Well,
you didn't,
let me back
oh,
up.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to read the text. I forgot to keep up with the
I
chat.
did leave for a short period of time to obtain a saw that we would need to cut that piece of flooring and the baseboard.
You're so funny.
Okay,
But then it came back, yes.
so you were at the scene that whole
Was
time,
Lori-
besides the time you went to get the saw?
Correct.
You didn't come,
No
you
idea
didn't go
what
to the
you're
Chandler Police Department?
No.
So you
I
weren't there
have
during
no
our
idea.
interviews?
No.
Okay. So, and you
I'm
had
sorry, Jerome. What was I supposed to rewind?
mentioned something about you couldn't go in. I was confused. You couldn't go in until after the search warrant, but you were in before that, right?
No. So obviously your first responders, your police officers, the firefighters, they're going.
Oh no, I don't remember that. I do not remember that real thing. I'm gonna take a screenshot so I can. But here's the thing: I'm also not on real social media. I'm on YouTube, which is social media, but it's not real social media. Okay, so Kelly says baby, this was a whirlwind of a romance. Okay. Okay, so Chad had eloped in Hawaii and they would not tell anyone where Tylee and JJ had disappeared to. Okay. Shout out to Fever. Fever is here and I did not even I don't know how I lost track of the chat, but I did. Shout out to Fever. And real thing, this is our other new co-counsel, Fever, from New York, okay? And then Callie says that really got me. How she was living her best life, baby. Yeah. Yeah, this is the detective. I'm sorry. He's called a case agent. I'm sorry, Fever. That's just Lori's not sound. She's not sound. And Brooklyn wanted to know if she's medicated. It doesn't sound like, I don't even think she thinks she's crazy. So Brooklyn said, so they had a marriage license in Hawaii or just a religious ceremony. Let's see. Let's see. All right. A real thing says, which of course was very alarming. They got married and the media came to Hawaii asking Lori where her children were, and she had no real answer. Let's see. It was unbelievable and sad. Ah, I'm gonna leave Lori alone.
Going in to preserve life. and treat the victim in this case.
Mm.
Then they back out. At that point, we will not let anybody in, given the circumstances of this case, until a search warrant.
Yeah, I
is-
think, real thing, I definitely think that Lori, she has issues. She's not mentally sound.
actually signed and executed. So we will wait outside the threshold of the house
Ellie
until that
says-
search warrant is signed, and then we'll.
Ellie says that big girl Lori, she needs a lesson from Daryl Brooks about about the objection sign and how to use it and get everyone to pay attention to the objection sign because no one does it better than Brooks. He has other problems now. He apparently wants to represent himself in his appeal. I don't think that guy's mentally sound either. Brooklyn says, were they celebrities? No. No. Maybe among the church, but maybe among the church. So, Fever, the name that I'm hovering over, I know it says voice of reason, but she's really a real thing, but she is the voice of reason on this channel. And this is our other co-counsel. All right.
We will begin our investigation.
All right.
So I'm still confused. So you didn't go into the house until after the search warrant, or you did get to go in beforehand?
No, I didn't go in before. I waited
You
until
guys
after
are
the search warrant.
funny.
Okay.
I know,
So you-
Allie. Apparently, you stood Fever up at Burger King at 8 a.m. this morning. It was somewhere in the Bronx. What street was that?
You had testified. I'm still confused. Sorry.
Why,
Check
Lori?
again.
Why are you confused? I suppose Lori's cross-examining to Lori. The time to actually bog down the facts was during your preparation, not during cross-examination.
Okay. So you had testified. I'm still confused. Sorry.
And I'm going to object again to the defendant testifying.
Just ask the question.
You had also,
Who is she to object to the defendant testifying? You were testifying the whole time during direct.
indicated that you had gone in and that Charles was on the floor. Is that correct?
I think the question was asked of me is, what did I see when I went in? And so and I would say after the search warrant, we went in, that's what I saw.
But he was already gone in the ambulance at that point?
He never went in an ambulance.
Charles didn't go in the ambulance?
No, he went with the medical examiner's office.
With a coroner, man.
So what time
was gone.
did he leave?
I can't give you a specific time on that. I have to look at the medical examiner's office information for that.
But it was after you entered at 11:50?
Yes, it was way after that.
Okay. So then when you entered, what did you do at that point? Can you kind of walk me through that?
Yes, when I entered, obviously I made my general observations about what I saw in that room and of the body. And then talked with Detective Coons about what needed to be done next.
And what did you guys do next?
So we came up with a game plan as far as how to process the scene.
Lori asks questions in the manner that the prosecutor should have asked her questions. So she is directing more than she's cross-examining.
Who was going to do what? Like I indicated, I was tasked with collecting that firearm and was also tasked with kind of looking through the house for any kind of blood evidence that might be present. The other task that I had when we were ready, I contacted the medical examiner's office to report the death to them.
What time about was that call, do you think?
I do not know.
But sometime in between that, before 4:30, is that correct?
Correct.
And did everyone leave the scene at 4:30? Is that kind of the timing when people were clearing out, or?
Yeah, some might have stayed behind, and a lot of our ID techs like to sit in their cars and type their notes, that type of thing. But right around that 4:30, 4:45 is when the search warrant was completed.
Okay. And then there had been a walkthrough, is that correct?
Yes,
And so Alex had come back to the house just after 3-ish?
I believe
There's
that.
been a new group going around. I think they're called no, it's not Zion. That's not Zion. I think they're called Zizian and uh, I don't know. Anyways, I'm getting distracted, but they have been involved in some they allegedly involved in some violent deaths in the United States between 2022 and 2023. It's probably going to be one of the larger cases in the next 2 years or so.
That could have been the time, yes.
Okay. And then were you present during the walkthrough?
I was.
And who else was present?
Detective Moffett, Detective Werther, Detective Coons, myself, and I want to say
Out of
crime scene technician
Pennsylvania.
Jordan might have been there as well.
Okay.
I don't know what Lori's
And-
doing, but
Was it Jordan that was wearing a body cam? Or was there a body cam made of that?
No, I believe that Detective Werther had a body cam, but it malfunctioned and didn't capture.
So there's no recording of that at all?
No.
And Detective Moffett was the
she is not even defending herself anymore, Fever. She's just incriminating herself. That's really what Lori is doing at this point.
case agent.
But again, in Lori's defense, I know that sounds crazy, but in Lori's defense, she might not be mentally sound.
At that point, right? Because he had been assigned that already?
Yes.
Okay.
So she's not able to make
And so-
decisions, proper decisions.
Did each of you write reports on that walkthrough?
Brooklyn,
then?
I do not know that deliberations are going to be that quick, like 20 minutes. I don't see that. I think it's going to take a little longer than that. Yeah, I think it's going to take a little longer than that.
And since there was no recording of it?
That would have all been included in our report, not a specific walkthrough report, but in our original narrative, yes.
Everyone
Okay,
would talk
Jerome
about it,
agrees with
mention
you,
it,
though.
Their perspective.
Not everybody has to, as long as somebody or one or two people wrote about it to know that it happened. Yeah.
Right. So since
Okay.
there's no recording of it,
So,
though, someone,
The real thing is saying that why is there a lag on here? Okay. Okay, so apparently Dr. Is that Grand or is it Grande? Here on YouTube gave Lori a diagnosis and it sounded accurate. Okay, I'll check it. Let me actually do it on my phone now. YouTube Grande. He might not even be Hispanic, and I'm out here saying Grande, but no, they're showing me somebody else. Dr. Grande. Oh, I've seen his channel before. Yeah, I've seen his channel before. I guess we'll get into his diagnosis of Lori later. All right. But Lori, she's not Something
is assigned like, because Moffett is the case agent, or who would do that? Be assigned to include it in the report, for sure.
It's different. I'll give you the
Yeah, but I think that in order for that to, I still do not understand why she's not going with the insanity defense. She probably, yeah, I don't know. She probably does not think she's, bananas. But I think, because here's the thing, and that's why I'm saying that this case would have been a decent defense case, because you have enough elements, you have enough factors to work with. So, as a defense attorney, if I actually represented Lori, I would have actually hired a psychologist. I would have hired a psychologist, have somebody testify on her behalf. I don't know what the defense case is going to look like. I don't know. Lori is stressing me out. She's really stressing me out.
example. If you look at probably my report compared to Detective Coon's report, you might notice, similarities in there. You might notice stuff that I went into more detail
Okay.
on, or he went into more
So
detail.
Kelly has heard about these people. I think it's called Zizian. I might be butchering their name. Right. I heard about it, or I read about it. I think it must have been late or mid last year. I heard about it then, but they're making rounds again. They're in the paper. They're in the paper again today or yesterday or something. So they I don't know. They did something in Pennsylvania. There are things going on.
But it depends on whether they write it or not. They could just put something as simple, I was present during a walkthrough.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
hopefully she has been evaluated, but she needs treatment. And that's the thing. I guess probably to Lori, we are the ones that are insane. I don't know. So it could go either way. It could go either way.
So since you became the case agent, have you read all the reports?
At one
Yeah,
time or
I
another,
agree.
yes, I have.
Allie.
So is there anyone specific that kind of ran through what happened at the walkthrough?
Your Honor, I object to asked and answered and relevance.
Sustained as to
Prosecutor's
asked and
fiery.
answered.
Did you write
Okay, so
about it in
exhibit-
your report?
I'm going to object
Oh,
again to
Dr.
relevance,
Grande,
hearsay, asked and answered.
Mucho Grande.
Sustained as to asked and answered. He already answered that.
Afiva's message is always cracking me up. He's like, Lori is insane though, for real, for real. Yeah, she's bananas for sure. No question about that.
You mentioned that it was Detective Werther who had the body cam, is that correct?
Again, asked and answered.
So
Yeah, Lori's gone,
Same.
man.
did you read his report?
I have read his report, yes.
And did he mention the walkthrough and what happened?
And I'm going to object again to relevance, hearsay, and asked and answered.
I am not It's been a while since I said this. It's been a while since I put out this disclaimer. I am not responsible for what happens or does not happen to you by sharing your contact information on this platform. I do not have liability insurance on here. You cannot sue me on here. So just, just to be clear. All right. That disclaimer goes for men and women. All right. And hopefully there are no babies on here. I don't want little kids listening to
To the
this
extent
and-
that it would call for a hearsay answer, I'll sustain the objection.
Oh, is that what they've been giving her, Brooklyn? Brooklyn, is that what she's been eating?
Detective, when you became the case agent, you were kind of aware, so you knew what had been done in the investigation, is that correct?
Yes,
And so you knew who had been interviewed, is that correct?
yes.
Dang.
And you knew what had
She
been,
must really love Burger King though. I don't know. I don't remember the last time I ate Burger King.
tested or not tested at that point.
Correct.
So the bat was tested for fingerprints, we learned,
I don't know. Lori's not doing anything.
and you're the case agent, so you're in charge of all of these people, is that correct?
I'm not in charge of them, but
Ooh.
I have read the reports.
So you have read the reports.
Yeah.
And as far as you know, to your knowledge,
Lori's obviously no threat to this officer. That's why he's,
we fully cooperated with law enforcement that day on July
Well,
11th, 2018.
And again, object to hearsay.
how's that hearsay?
And lack of personal knowledge.
Maybe lack of
Sustained.
personal knowledge, but
Has it come to
hearsay.
your knowledge that we did not comply with everything?
And I would object to the exact same
Look at Lori.
thing, lack of personal knowledge and hearsay.
He can answer that question.
Look at Lori. That girl, Lori. Listen, Lori is very questionable in a cross-examination, but every once in a while, there's a glimmer of hope there. I think it was last night as well where she showed good recovery. You guys know that I do not like cross-examiners that give up. I don't like it. So shout out to Lori.
Can you ask that again?
Have you come to the knowledge that we did not comply
Shout out
that
to
day
Lori.
for any reason?
I have not.
Okay.
Look at Lori. All right,
Are you,
Lori.
did I turn my husband's phone over when asked?
Yes,
These are good questions.
Did
And I
Alex
think
turn-
these are questions similar to what she asked of the detective from yesterday's proceedings. Who's sending me emails?
turn his phone over willingly?
I am not sure
Credit
when
from-
Alex, or if Alex turned his phone on. I'm not aware of that. I can't-
All right.
Okay. So is there a body cam where his phone was placed into an evidence bag? That's correct.
I do remember seeing that, yes.
And then the evidence bag is put into the front of the police car where he was taken to the Chandler Police Department. Is that correct?
I didn't see that, but I trust the fact that it was taken at that time, yes.
And so according to that body cam, it looked like he turned it over on request.
And I'm going to object to speculation.
You don't have any knowledge that he didn't, is that correct?
I'll allow that last question.
I don't have.
Look at
knowledge.
Lori.
Okay.
Look at that girl,
So
Lori.
do you know who
Mm-mm.
had taken possession of his phone at that point?
I don't.
Do you know who drove him to the Chandler Police Department?
Well, through this hearing, Officer Krautheim.
Oh, that's right. The one I couldn't remember how to spell. I mean,
Again,
Yeah.
She
Sustained,
said
please don't
what?
testify.
remember
Or
how to
something
spell.
else.
I mean, the one I couldn't remember how to spell. I mean,
She's something else. All right, folks. Around 10:15, we're calling it a night. Okay. I need to go tell my man how much I love him. All right.
Again,
Sustained, please don't testify.
She's something else. Big shout out to all the
was a
strippers,
copy of
all right?
Alex's phone made by the Chandler Police Department?
I don't know.
Brooklyn, you're
You don't
something
know?
else.
There's so much information. I don't know whether we received his call detail records or an actual copy was made. I don't know.
So you're the case agent.
Yeah, I'd have to look and see if that was the case.
So you're the case agent, and you don't know if the person
Why?
who shot my husband's phone.
No, Brooklyn. The one thing I absolutely do not want anybody in this courtroom to do is to zap her. Nope, they shouldn't do it. Uncalled
Was
for.
ever,
Lori is not going to go anywhere. Where is she going to go? She's confined in that courtroom. She's not going anywhere.
At this moment, I don't recall.
so there's no cell bride of it. Is that correct? In the discovery?
I think the only thing that we have is his call detail records.
All right. So Real Thing says that she was thinking that her defense attorney, which is currently herself, could have a doctor explain that due to a mental illness, her culpability is lessened and the state cannot meet their burden beyond a reasonable doubt. Not necessarily, because not guilty by reason of insanity, if it does not necessarily absolve you of your criminal conduct. It's just that in the event that you are convicted, you end up being in a you'll be institutionalized. You don't get to go to prison. But my biggest problem with that, though, is that most institutions, or at least in the jurisdictions that I know, if you're declared a precedence patient, you don't really have an a release date. So it's just when they figure that you're good to go home. There was a case of, here I go talking about random cases. Let's move on. I was going to talk about a case. I think that was a London. I think, yeah. I don't know. Let's move on. You guys know I can. You guys know that I can go off on tangents. So
Which is from his cellular provider.
So what would the typical protocol be for you
shout out to
if
all
someone handed
public
over their
defenders in
phone?
McChart.
Wouldn't it be to do a digital download of it?
So that can be one of two ways. It could be under a search warrant to do that, or it can be under consent to do that. I do not believe I don't believe that his phone was extracted at that time.
All right.
So he would have to give consent? Is that what you're saying?
Or a search warrant, but that would have been through Detective Moffett.
So Detective Moffett would have had to get a search warrant and then he would download it?
Based on their conversation, whether Alex would be willing to do that or whether a search warrant was needed, but that was Detective Moffitt's call at that time.
And he decided not to do that.
I don't know what his process is or his thought process.
Well, I'm saying that he did not do that, and you're the case agent now, so you would know if that was done, correct?
You're asking me to speak for Detective Moffitt, whether it was done or not?
No, I'm asking you to speak as a case
Lori, what are
agent
you
now, if you
saying?
know if it was done or not.
I believe it was not.
Okay. Do you think that would be important to your investigation?
Absolutely, knowing what we know now, yes.
And Jerome, you have, I'm bringing the swaddle blanket out. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've had to bring it out. You have 4 minutes, okay? You have 4 minutes.
Okay, you're a detective, right?
Correct.
Duh, Lori.
You have to look at all the angles, right?
Correct.
You don't know what happened, right? You just stated that you weren't there, right?
Correct.
So wouldn't that be crucial information that the police department didn't bother to take?
Once again, I don't know what the conversation with Detective Moffitt and Alex
I wonder if she's gonna cross-examine about, the text messages, or maybe she just leaves that
was and
stuff
what his
alone.
reasoning for not. Would I have taken it? Yes.
But that was not your call at the time.
Self-defense, Brooklyn.
And so in lieu of that, what did you do to try to obtain that information?
We got his
Yeah, I'm gonna
call
tag
detail records through
Jerome
his
in.
company.
And so is it safe to say that it's much better to have the actual phone to do the extraction so that you can have everything that was on the phone?
Yeah, but you can also obtain
Brooklyn,
a
be
lot of that
nice.
stuff through other means, through iCloud records,
Be
Google
nice.
records. But yeah, it is nice to have that phone.
So would you call that an oversight by Detective Moffitt?
Object to speculation.
Right.
Sustained.
So was the phone then returned to Alex that day?
Yes,
How did that happen? Was it just handed to him or?
I'm not sure.
Okay. And that would have also been Detective Moffitt's call.
Correct.
Lori.
And we haven't heard from Detective Moffitt. Is that correct?
Correct.
Jerome, you have 2 minutes.
So according to your knowledge, that when Alex was called by Chandler Police to return to the scene for the walkthrough by detectives, he did so. Is that correct?
Yes, he did.
You saw him there?
Yes.
And did he answer everyone's questions while you were there, that you observed?
Yes, he did. There was very little questioning. It was just more positional type thing.
Jerome,
as
you have
where were
1
you?
minute.
It was more, I'm sorry, I missed that last part.
Where was he? Where was he standing during the time?
Oh. And so
What do
he
you
kind
mean,
of walked
oh?
it through with you and all 4 of you were there, right? Or
Yes.
5. And no one was asking him any questions?
Your Honor, I'm going to, again, we've already gone through this before, asked and answered, as well as verging on hearsay.
I'm going to sustain the objection. How much do you have left on your cross, do
Right.
you think?
5 hours.
I don't know, Your Honor, a lot.
In other words, more than a couple minutes, should we take our afternoon break?
Oh, yes, we should
right.
take a break.
Let's take our
That girl said she has a lot. Look at the detective.
afternoon break.
Oh, yes, we should
right.
take a break.
The
Let's,
detective. I'm sorry. Hold on.
couple minutes, should we take our afternoon break?
Oh, yes, we should
right.
take a break.
He said, look at this pretend lawyer.
Take our afternoon break for staff. It'll be about 15 minutes. Please remember the admonition.
All right. Okie dokes. And I mean, it's past Jerome's bedtime anyway, so let's just see how she ends. Oh, was that redirect? Yeah, that's redirect. We want to go back to Lori. I want to see how she ends, because she usually ends on a good note. All right.
I think it was important to maybe
Look at.
what's been tested or what happened.
But
Dang, why does she have
on my
a...
desk, and then
Yes,
before he left, he
fire
just dropped the
in her voice?
the case notebook on my desk, and then went on his way. We have
So-
had conversations before then and since, but but nothing in detail.
So you didn't say what's been tested or what hasn't been tested
No, that's for me to go back through and look at.
through reports?
Correct.
Okay. So did you think it was important to maybe luminol the bat?
Once again, there was no visual blood present on the bat, and we decided that we were not going to do that particular process.
So can't blood be invisible and still be on the bat if you luminol it?
I guess if it's cleaned off, it would still maybe show some proteins, but that was something we decided not to do. We fingerprinted it to show, because there was indication that Charles had grabbed it from Tylee. So we did our best.
Yeah, Jerome's
evidence to try
asleep.
to grab that location where
He put
it would
himself
have
to
been grabbed.
sleep.
But that's what we did.
Wouldn't that be important to your investigation?
Objection as to wouldn't what?
Yeah, please,
Wouldn't luminoling the bat be important to this investigation, this particular investigation?
Damn,
Probably
Lori.
would.
What about luminoling the gun? Was that done?
Once again, there's no visible, and we were under the impression that it happened 5.
That's the thing. Again, law enforcement, again, it depends. It really depends on the officers and the department. But every once in a while, you find a case where they did not properly investigate. But if you're to compare the Lori, Vallow, Daybell, Ryan, Cox case to Karen Reed, obviously you cannot equate the two, because in Karen Reed, I do not have proper verbiage or language to describe just how inefficient Proctor and his team was. But again, this just highlights, for every case, there's usually something that law enforcement just did not do that they should have. But this is not going to help Lori. Okay.
Minutes before we got there, and there's no visible presence
Brooklyn
of
said
blood
Lori
on the bat.
watched
Well, you
too
went
many
around the whole
movies.
entire house looking for blood. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you had
I
the
was wondering why you're so up. Good night, my friend. I'll reply to your messages once I iron. I still have to iron. Yeah, I still have to iron. Yeah, I still have to iron. Okay. All right. Good night, my friend.
gun in your possession
Yes.
and you're in a police station.
I was at your house.
I'm saying you have access as the case agent to have any of these things tested. Is that not right?
Yes.
So
He's
why
fiery.
didn't you test them?
Because I did not think that luminol was needed to be tested, because there was no visual blood.
So wouldn't you like to know that for sure?
He's sweating a little bit.
I guess we make choices and we make decisions through this process based on the facts that we have and the facts that are presented to us. And based on the facts presented to us and what we saw and what we had, I did not feel that was necessary.
Okay.
You have charged me with a crime. Is that correct?
I have not, no.
I'm
You have
sorry.
helped them charge me with a crime. Is that correct? The state of
I
Arizona?
say no.
I conducted an investigation and I sent it forward, yes.
And you did not feel it was necessary to test any of these things?
Objection. Your
As the case
question
agent.
answered like 4 times.
sustained.
Lori.
What logical reason do you have as an investigator to not
Yeesh.
investigate all of these things that were available to you for the past 5 years?
That's a
Your Honor,
wordy
I'm
question.
again going to object to asked and answered. If there's a specific thing that
That's
hasn't been
a-
asked,
That's a really very broad question.
Right.
I'll sustain the objection.
A really very broad. It's a broad question.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
She was about to end on a good note. But she went too broad. But I guess Lori did learn. She learned some lessons while in the cling. because at least she understands the importance of ending on a high note. I'd have loved to listen to all this, the what is this? The direct, because I think there's a lot there that I just did not get to unpack. There's a lot there that I did not get to unpack. Yeah, these folks were in court today. We'll get to Karen Reed on Sunday. I'll have to figure out the time to do that. And then on Sunday for Karen Reed, we are gonna go on my backup channel. We're gonna go to my backup channel. So here are the posts. So it's up here, okay? So this is the link for my backup channel. It takes you to I Want a Real Lawyer. And we will reconvene tomorrow, okay? So we reconvene tomorrow. That's what? Tomorrow's Thursday, right? Yep. Okay, so we'll reconvene tomorrow, regular time. It's 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. And again, Friday we will not be live. I don't even know if these people have court on Fridays, but yeah, I don't know if they have court on Fridays. In any event, if anything dramatic happens on Friday, we can recap on what's a day on Sunday. All right. For Sunday though, let me think about it. I'm going to have to really figure out when to go live. It's probably gonna be. I'll figure it out. In any event, I'll post the times on Sustained Overruled, and then I'll also post the time on I Want a Real Lawyer. In any event, folks, we're calling it a night. It was fantastic. We had a great chat. We usually have a good chat, but we had a fantastic chat. Real thing, it was wonderful seeing you back here, being active. Benji, Ali, Fever, Cali, Brooklyn, um, Jerome. It's been swirl, okay? But I'm gonna call it. I'm not really calling it a night. I always say that. I still have to iron. So I'm gonna iron. I'm still yeah, old bag, not old bag. Real thing, I've still been ironing. I've still been uh, you know, um shining my floors. So not much has changed. Not much has changed. All right. Good night, co-consults. I am kind of calling it a night. All right. Tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time.